All right. Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. There is a lot of talk right now in the JASMY community. A lot of people are concerned with the price action that we are seeing with JASMY. We are seeing Bitcoin at 90K, and we come here to JASMY only to find something like a 10-15% drop, right, as we were seeing today. So, of course, a lot of people have begun doubting what the JASMY price can do. But I'll tell you that having been in these markets like 2 past cycles, this has actually been the dynamic time and again. Let me quickly explain to you why this happens like this. Bitcoin has got a very big marketing machine, right? Just take a look at this as an example. Bitcoin in the last 7 days, which it has really been going crazy, is only up 30%, right? 28%. And then we are seeing, for example, something like XRP, which is up 41%. Now, everybody in this planet knows that Bitcoin is setting a new all-time high. But how many people are talking about XRP, for example? What about Near Protocol? What about Aptos, for example? So right now, what you are feeling is something that I've also felt in the past, that when Bitcoin really starts moving, right, it feels like nothing else is going to be moving. The situation is actually much more amplified this time around because there is the issue of ETFs, right? So it feels like every sophisticated investor, right, at this point is only looking at Bitcoin. That is not the truth. The truth is, as you can see from these graphs that I prepared for you, eventually all boats are going to be rising together. It may take some time for altcoins to catch up to what Bitcoin is doing right at this point, and it has happened like this even in the last 2 cycles or something like that. The reason is very simple. I think you can actually relate to this. What was the first thing that you bought when you entered this market? Probably it was Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum, right? Or maybe something like an XRP, which was popular back then. But see, what I want you to understand is that when capital is coming into the market, it enters the big caps first, then it trickles down, and then you see crazy gains coming up, right? So for me personally, I'm not even worried a single shred because I've lived these moments before, and I can say this with a very high degree of certainty. This time also is not different. It may feel like it's different, but actually, no, it's not. The same thing will happen. At some point, I'm very confident that we will see even this cup and handle formation coming to fruition. And technically speaking, we are looking right around 62, 64 cents for this cup and handle formation alone, right? Without any other factors or stuff like that. I will talk about more in today's video. But before we continue, I want to kindly ask you to help me support this video just by delicately tapping the like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm, and people looking for JASMY content will now be able to find this video much more easily. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe because I do tier on JASMY and a number of other different altcoins on a regular basis. So just to put the nail on the coffin on the argument as to why JASMY is not moving, this is nothing new, as I said earlier on, but let me show you a few examples, real life examples, right, from previous past. This line that you see here is the moment when Bitcoin, which is right here on top, was setting a new all-time high. But take a look at what was happening to the majority of altcoins which were there back then, obviously in 2017. You can see here, no reaction whatsoever, just sideways. No reaction, sideways, no reaction, sideways, no reaction, sideways, no reaction. Yeah, probably here we are beginning to see some, pushing along with the Bitcoin price. But other than that, you see that most of them actually going sideways, except for a select few, right? This is the same situation that you are seeing today with things like SUI and stuff like that. Let's go to the 2021 cycle, for example. And here you're almost seeing the same thing, sideways action when BTC is flying to the upside. Even XRP, this is when the lawsuit from the SEC was filed. Of course, this is probably an exception. But the bottom line here is that things don't react instantly. There is usually a gap in between. And then in due time, capital is also going to be coming to the JASMY price, and we are going to be reaping. Actually, JASMY is likely to outperform Bitcoin in terms of a bull cycle because it is a lower market cap and it will pump hard. This parabolic run that you are seeing with Bitcoin, actually, this will be the same thing, but actually on steroids with the JASMY price at end. People tend to forget quickly. Take a look at what was happening back then when we were breaking the very big resistance. I remember making videos back then in 2022, and I was saying, the moment we break $0.008 on JASMY, this is when we are flying. JASMY didn't even take like 3 days to pump like 200% basically. So, price action like this is going to be coming, but unfortunately, it doesn't tell you that I'm coming, right? When it just starts to come, it's going to be pumping towards the upside 100%. So this is where we are with the JASMY price. And I hope you understand the market dynamics that we are in right now. Obviously, you don't have to believe anything that I say, but maybe if you take your own time to look at the charts, you'll probably come to the same conclusion that I am right now. Now, let's move on to the short term. What we are seeing here is that JASMY has got this falling wedge. And usually falling wedge have got a 70% chance of reaching their price target. This is why I was writing the 70% chance here. But then again, what is the technical price target, right? You may be asking. Usually it's the top of the wedge. And this is suggesting that, the high that we were putting back in March, right, when we had like this fantastic run, is likely going to be taken out, and we're going to be going even higher with the price set for JASMY. So this is really something that I have, and it's exciting me. And of course, another thing is the volume that we are seeing here. This is really crazy. But it seems that this volume is only concentrated on one exchange. I would love to see like much of the other exchanges getting this kind of volumes, and then we can know that, you know what, with a very high degree of certainty, come what, come rain, come thunder, JASMY is going to be pumping towards the upside. One other thing that really has me excited, of course, is what we are seeing with the moving average here. Remember, I always say time and again that the single most important moving average here on the JASMY price, that is the 50 daily moving average. It simply just detects a fair here for the JASMY price. So you see here, when you're above the 50 daily moving average, you are pumping very much strongly. Take a look at this here. Also, you're pumping very much strongly, right? Take a look at this too. Big pump towards the upside. So below it, obviously, things are not really great. Take a look at where we were back testing today when everybody was screaming that, okay, yeah, ECF, you told me that JASMY is going to pump, but it's dropping 10%. Look, right on the button here on the 50 daily moving average. I really don't know if this is going to be holding, but in the likelihood of things, usually this 50 daily moving average is good news here for the JASMY price. So we'll see what eventually happens right there, but this is a good early sign. Of course, another thing that I'm looking at to solidify the case of JASMY taking out that 4.5 cents is this structure here that we see JASMY on the left side. Then we also, of course, see Bitcoin going back way as far as something like 2015, and we were spotting this structure, I think, in the last month or something like that. And ever since, I've kept on saying, you know what, JASMY will bottom right here, and then we'll start pumping. Take a look at how far we have actually progressed with that. I mean, right now we are working this resistance level. I don't know if you've noticed that we have got this resistance here that we are beginning to work with the JASMY price, but eventually I expect the price to continue pushing, just as we were seeing the Bitcoin price do something special like this year. Moments like this are also going to be coming here for the JASMY price. That, like, really, it will be very surprising that we saw Bitcoin head all the way to 90k and then it stopped, right? The bear market began, and JASMY never took off. It's really uncharacteristic of this market. It's really uncharacteristic of this market. I'll say that one more time. But you know, of course, I don't know really what the future is going to be holding. I just look at the data and I present it the same way. I understand it. Another chart that I'm looking at short term, obviously, is the Dogecoin price. We were seeing Dogecoin really pumping. I looked at the chart really and I didn't see much difference towards what the JASMY price has been doing. So yeah, it could also be that any moment from now, just as you were seeing here, breaking the trend line back, testing it nice and easy, we were seeing here JASMY pretty much doing the same thing as well in the same time frame. It has back tested that trend line. So we'll see if we can get a push like this here for JASMY. If this happens, really, I mean, congratulations to everybody who has been buying here, because yeah, you're actually going to be making a considerable amount of money. So this is how things are looking. Now, before we continue with long-term price targets, our partners over there at BingX, the exchange, have got this fantastic event. You can claim up to $5,450, and on top of that, 300 ton token. Feel free to go ahead and sign up with them, and the link will be somewhere there in the description. Let's get back here to long-term price targets here for the JASMY price. And I've always used this chart, I mean, for 2 years, right at this point, since 2022, we have been saying the same thing, that, you know what, see this JASMY price set here is pretty much repeating what the Cardano price set was doing before its massive 2021 bull run, right? I mean, take a look at how far we have advanced with this structure. Really, this has been a long journey. And for me to hear people saying that, you know what, JASMY is not moving, it's dropping hard when it is got down 15%. I don't know, I'm kind of hurt, honestly, but I mean, not everybody has to believe the same thing that I believe, right? So I believe that JASMY is still going to be following in here, because if you take a look at it, actually, we've been following in this structure for a total of 1,106 days, I think. Now, the Cardano structure, if we come back to it, we realize that before it really started taking off, it only took something like here from the very top until the beginning of the rally. We were looking at something like 1,092 days, 1,100 days basically. So from a time frame perspective, even here for JASMY, I think we are almost ready. Something like this is not going to be surprising me here to see the JASMY price that's still just continuously pumping towards the upside like this. Now, the price targets of this one, if we want to continue following in this structure and using Fibonacci retracement tools, now you'll be looking at the 2.618 Fibonacci extension level. That's right around 86 cents for JASMY. I think it's a price that is too high. I would honestly be only looking at right around the 1.61 Fibonacci extension level, because this is what we have seen with a lot of these other altcoins, that you have got this whole dump thing that you see, and then you reaccumulate for years, and then you start pushing towards the upside, right? But once you get there, you have to make a decision, obviously, when you get to higher retracement levels like that. But other than that, I think there's also a very strong chance that once you start kicking, you can get to the 1.618 Fibonacci extension level. That's right around 54 cents here for JASMY. That's my best price target right at this point. At some point in the past, looking at the Ethereum chart, I had price targets as high as something like $1.20, but I want to be taking profits, right? So I think, yeah, being a little bit conservative in this situation will be much helpful. So this is where we are with the Jasmy price. That obviously everybody has got very different price targets. You definitely know where exactly you think it's good for you to take profits. But I think here, bottom line is that whatever is going to be happening here for Jasmy immediate short term is not going to be important anyway. Let me show you here the price action of Bitcoin, right? Now that we have broken into like previous all-time highs. I mean, I'm saying previous all-time highs. I don't know what that means. But anyway, what I'm saying here is that whenever we have broken these all-time high records and set big candles like this here that you were seeing, we were closing last week, and this one coming in the history of Bitcoin, these moments have actually been, I mean, very epic actually, because take a look at this one here. We're going back to the 2021 cycle. Look at how many weeks we continue doing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks of continued price action. So I'm not really worried on what the Bitcoin, I mean, maybe it's going to pull back, whatever the case may be. I think in the grand scheme of things, still we are looking very good. The trend has been set here that Bitcoin is not joking around. Take a look at this time around. This is maybe back then in 2017, and you can see that, you know, these weekly candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight weeks of continued annihilation of the bears. And I think in an environment like this one, yeah, Jasmy is going to flourish, right? It's not going to go like right on the same time the Bitcoin price is going to be going. There is a leg there, usually 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? The reward here for the Jasmy price, that for me personally, is much bigger than losing 15%. And you realize this actually in a full-blown bull cycle, bears celebrate 10%, like towards the downside, right? Bulls are celebrating 10x's left, right, and center. I mean, choose your side, right? Pick your side very much easily. So I think you have a big understanding of what we are talking about here. The price may be diving or nose diving, as some people are putting in quotes. All right, no problem. But I think in the grand scheme of things, we are in safe hands. This market is not going to be too much different from what we have seen in the past. And if history is going to be any indication of the future, we will know that certainly all boats are going to be rising eventually. So that's where we are with the market right now. And I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please like the video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and then just remember, none of what I say is financial advice. And I'll see you on the next one. Take really, really good care of yourselves. Bye-bye.